sorry that I was not available. Is it on the same time last week? So I had plenty of other things to attend to, and I'm so sorry. Big apologies to that. So now let me create an MD file where I will likely write. So I think now, so let me create an MD file here. New file, new file, new file, new file, new file. So I think first, before we even proceed, I would have loved to push to Repo, but let me just continue. So let me just continue. So today we'll be talking about, we're still on OP2. So OP2, all right. So today we will be scaling our MVC app using Composer. So today I think I did ask for Semi to add routes, to add controller functions and so on and so forth. So today I'll do it. I don't know if any of you did it, so I'll just probably in the end of the class, so there will be a walk around to that. I'll decide on what we're going to do with that. So yeah, today this is what we'll basically be doing for today. So enhance our OOP ability and then scale our MVC application. So in the next class, so we'll start talking about data structure, and then yeah, talk about data structure, and from there we can now talk of much more advanced stuff. So once we are done, understanding a lot of things about data structure, I think there are still so many things we need to do. Plenty things. Okay, so first, now, I don't know if any of you have been able to set up Composer from scratch on a normal PHP before, but if you've not, so don't worry. So I'll create a new folder here. I will call it, sorry, not a new file, a new folder actually. I don't know what to call this thing. Maybe we can call the application like PadWrite. PadWrite. Yeah, PadWrite. PadWrite, yeah. So PadWrite just basically a small lightweight PHP framework. All right. So we will be building in our stay in CodeCamp that imitates Laravel, that tries to do the things Laravel is doing. That's a lot of things. I'm looking at us, making it so rich, making it so scalable, making it so awesome. Probably putting out to be an open source stuff where some other people can contribute. Just bring whatever you bring and contribute, and then we scale the application, and then people can actually use it in production, and then we grow. So yeah, so we call it PadWrite. So now in PadWrite, I will just I'll close. I think I'll close this in. Okay, I will not close. Let me just leave the instance alone. So, so in parallel, so we will have setup because this is where we are going to. Sorry, after we are done with OOP, so I think the next thing is data structure. The ones that are done with data structure, so the next thing we will talk about is basically database. So that's where we start writing migration operation and command line operation for our application. So I think in the next class, so while we are doing whatever we are doing with data structure, so we are using the opportunity to learn how to write command line PHP application. Okay. So yeah, so I'll seed into but right, and here I'll just composer in it. So using composer and but before then, so we will dwell on namespace. So this is where we are going to be dwelling on today. So today we will be dwelling on namespace. So now it's telling me this command will description. So so then so now so in part right, so we have our whatever it is being called. So we have our composer.json. So the next is just to go into that route. And then we start to work on them. So first, what is composer? So if I have to tell you, I know a lot of you might have known what composer is already. You know, composer is a package manager for PHP, just like npm is for Node.js, all right? Just like npm is for Node.js. So we have composer for PHP, all right? So composer uses the namespace in your PHP application to handle auto class injection into your application. All right. So assuming now you have an entry point, so with correct namespacing along. So if you remember, while we were coding, so each file we had a specific pattern. So we have a pattern. Now PHP has their standard recommendation. All right. So now in this case, so we will write our code according to PSR4. So basically PHP standard recommendation 4. Right. So they are from 0, I think 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So because so we'll use that to write most of our code and do most of our things. I think this is taking too much time. So composer.json is there in our path right, but I don't know why it is still taking time with my editor to open. Uh, Okay. So okay, automatically. I think not automatically, it works now. So first thing is to define our entry points. With Composer, and of course, so you should know. So autoload, so we have PSR4 already, and I'll just leave it like this. All right. So meaning everything within that folder automatically is considered a proper namespacing for it. Okay. So now we will start to move. We will start to move our important things into this. So later in the future, so we may actually have to, handle this a separate way, where we will have, each module like requests to be a module being managed. Yeah. So now where it's being managed, and I think I did make some error here in spelling. Okay, so next one is going to be. So what I am stressing, like I did say, namespacing allows you to. They most times using PHP to qualify a path route, all right. So and not just do they use do they only qualify path route? So they allow you to explicitly allow a kind of flexibility while you are trying to declare your classes in respect to whatever route path they are. Okay, for example, if you have a class in class, let's say car or request in user, request and in resource and request in the vendor. All right. So this in most cases will have to. This in most cases always have that conflict, where you have to, when you're requiring them. So when you're requiring them, so you'll be like, okay, which namespaces belongs to which of them? Although, so namespaces in most cases does qualify the path or the class, a class or something. So I think we will likely. I was going to allow the route to pick this up, but then I don't think I should allow that. I don't think I should allow that. Should I really allow that? I'm thinking about plenty things, plenty things, plenty things, plenty things. No, let me not allow that. So we will have requests, all right? And something, let's have something like a framework, a path like framework, and where framework specific things are being done. Yeah, so in here, so we will have a new path. So we have framework, and inside framework, so we should have another one app. Sorry, inside path, right? So we should have app. So yeah. So let me remove this. So inside of framework, so framework just solely allows framework thing, and one of these framework thing are this thing right here. So I'll just copy this thing. So inside, then we do have one thing that is there right now. So we do have so I need to create a directory and not. So of course, so there's going to be interfaces, and then we should have another class, probably like something like so we should have something like traits, even if we don't use it now, so we might likely use it later. So we have interfaces and what was this? So next should be traits, and then abstracts. All right, so now this comes to this. So we paste. Yes. And so we copy. We paste it out in interface. So the next is going to be router. Router should still be under request for now, till when we have a better place to place it. Oh, so the next thing is public. So I'll just, this and this is going to be just the way they are. Copy, and I'm going to put them in upright. Path right. Yes. Add all of them. And so the next thing, we should do is to define our composer entry points. Okay. I'm thinking if we should do it in the index, but no, we shouldn't be doing it in the index. So we shouldn't be doing it in the index. So we may actually decide to do a lot of other things. So we will have a bootstrap folder. So I'll call it bootstrap. Then the file should be bootstrap.php. Yeah, so here, require ones, I'm going to use real path. So yeah, so slash, I think I did not do composer install. So let me just do that. So we may have to sometimes deal with tests. So I'll just push this. So now we have vendor now. I wonder where it went before. So vendor slash autoload. Yep. So we have one. So the next is to go down to our public folder and then to our index.php, and I'll just include once. Composer installed. We're setting up right now. So yeah. So what next? Then we need to initiate. So I'm not going to spend time writing a bunch of code. So I'll just. So I'll just, require this, require that, require that, require, and then, of course, so we should done. We should be done. So this, for now, let it stay here. I'll talk about what we are going to do to this. I'll talk about what we are going to do to this later on. So now we are going to head up to each class and then name them according to their namespaces. Okay. So that way we should be able to define. Namespace. So namespace, we are going to have framework slash Framework. What do we have again? Framework slash. Yes, under requests. So I'll just move my mouse here so that I can. Framework slash requests. Interfaces. Now we're done. So I'll just copy this, then paste on a bunch of other things. Where is this? So we should remove this. Framework and requests. And I think the next one is the router. So the router is almost like that of the request. So they're using the same namespace. So use whatever that is here. Oh, sorry. Where is this? So use this. Of course, we should be done. So yep. So everything should work fine now. So the next will be to try it out. So let's see if we get an error. All right. So next, I'm gonna go. So the next thing. So this works. So for today, the next thing we will be doing will likely just be resolving controllers. All right. So allowing this thing instead of callback functions. So allowing people to pass something like this, something like or like this class path as method. All right. So this is the way Laravel does its own. So the next we'll be using this, and then maybe probably we can actually now step into modifying it to have this, where we have the first one to be let's say class path, then method. All right, and the next way is to say allow callback. Okay, allow callbacks as well. So for now, let me just put this. Now let me head up to the index folder. Sorry, the public folder to start up the server, and then we see how it works. So next, so we will likely, I think the first thing we will do is to create command line application where we boot everything right from our root directory and then see if it works. That means we have to start the server from the from the from the root directory, okay, and then once we start the server from the root directory, so the next thing is for us to be able to 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 write the commands. We start the server from the root directory, and then we are able to write other command line application to do some other things like run migration, and then do some other certain activities and so on and so forth. So for now, we get into public. And I'll just start as local hosts, then 8,000 as usual. So I'll head up to my browser and I will. So something should fail. Yes. Require once. Class framework request not found in whatever. Webline 6. So next is to look at this thing. So to on class framework slash router request router. So we have requests and yeah, is this following the namespace framework? Next is requests. So we check up over the bootstrap and is it actually busy? So we check out if it's actually bootstrapping. So I don't know if it's actually bootstrapping, but then this is so we have pad right, we have vendor autoload slash. So definitely, I think we have issues. Either we have issues with our composer, the JSON setup. So PSR for the PSR for and then we have this and then we do have about our bootstrap, which is just calling your store load and whatever that is. And then the next is this qualifies this and this and okay, so we continue. And so next, so we'll try to troubleshoot here. So we have require the vendor. So I will die some classes we had earlier from, let's see if we get something reasonable from this. Let me look at their documentation. Mm-hmm. So let's just see this and try and see how it works. So this should work. Let's see this and try and see how it does work. Exactly. So it does work. So meaning is looking out at the right path for this. So yeah, it does work here, and so let's look at something. So to be sure we are not getting some things wrongly. So we come down here, and of course we come into PHP unit. So next we should be able to look at the composer, the JSON, and of course, so we are really interested in the auto load. Okay. So there is a class map function. Um, so in this we have PHP units and so where is this located? So let's look at where this is located, and right from there we can be able to trace that. So this is test case.php, and it's located at SRS. So PHP units framework. Yeah, exactly. So we have framework. Sure. Yeah. So let's use let's use the auto load and see how, without specifying the standard, and see how that works. So I'll stop this for now. So one of the reasons I like to coach, so without trying out things, is it is easier for you to learn along, because I'm sure while I'm doing this, you are seeing the mistake and the error, and then possibly you're learning from there. Okay, so so it does generate the files, but then why can't I have the instance? So Gabriel, can't you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, all right. Hmm. Sorry, the network went bad again. So I will vendors and come to the Symfony Finder iterator, but then it has to do with the directory. So it has to do with the directory, and I'm trying to see how to load all the directory. So I will just likely be setting up this again. So let me see how it turns out to be. Uh, but I know for sure if I put them in the SR, the sort, or if I put them out in a separate directory, it will work accordingly. But then I do not want to put them in a separate directory. So I'll just say app. So okay, so and so there's a lot of things. I still do not need to put this out there. So yeah, so we have our hello world first, but then this will be us doing a lot of things, lot of things. Okay, and I don't like the way this thing is. So I actually let me see if I can add another one. Sorry, what's wrong with me? This should still work. Oh. So another way is I'll talk about something, or probably, so let me leave, I'll leave us. So probably when we get to some certain stage when this becomes a problem, so we'll definitely learn how to resolve that. So I am going to remove some of this. So we can continue from where we actually stopped. So now automatically we have we have our application running now. So I think now I can go to different routes. So I can go to, let me see how many routes we did defined then. So of course I'll remove this. So we can now go to still different routes, and yeah, you see profile, and then you see some every other thing should work perfectly. So if you are trying to post, so it should work perfectly fine. So now I'll just look at this. I know this has been, oh sorry, this has been, this has been a very great hassle. I mean, real hassle. All right, but then so this has been a very real hassle, but then don't be afraid. So we'll do a lot of things. So number one, we'll abstract this framework where to a place where we only allow the users to manage whatever they have to manage and then do whatever they have to do. So we will handle that later on. So yeah, we'll handle that later on. Then the next thing we will likely be doing will be to allow our app focus just on our app, and then some other things focus just on whatever they are to focus on. But for now, let's add another module. So we'll likely go out to adding this. So I will add a new class here. Sorry, a new directory. HTTP directory, and I'll add another directory. Sorry, yes, I'll add another directory, and I'll call it because we will have plenty controllers. No, so I'm going to refactor that. So I will name that to controller. So the next file should be let's homepage, home controller. So yeah, there we go. So now, first thing we have to do, we define namespacing, and then so now namespacing, and then we just call it. We'll have another controller, and yeah, first thing to do, we'll talk about this. Then from there we can go. So first thing to do is just to Declare namespace. Namespace. So we have of course we have app, and we have app what app HTTP. Then we have a controller. Yeah. So now next is just class. Then home controller, and yeah. So we done. So we see if our autoload have been able to pick that up. Yeah, exactly. So that got picked up as well. So if you are trying to figure out if that got picked up, so you can just do something like where did we okay, we did call the profile here. So I'll do this. I'll duplicate this and I'll do app stroke HTTP stroke what's it called again? Controller. Stroke what's again? Home controller. So automatically you can see that is there. So I'll just die new, sorry, vadom new, and we'll call it, we did call it home controller. All right. So let's see if that works. It's still showing profile. Sorry. So I'm on the wrong route. So yeah, you see that. So that works perfectly fine. So, and of course, so it's just one. What's this? So actually, so this is what it is. It is what it is. So it's an object. So don't mind my JSON parser that is trying to do what I did not send it. So you can see home controller. So we got our application resolved. So please excuse me. So I just want to ease myself. So while I'll be back, then we can now move out to doing some other things. Okay. So next, now we've been able to resolve. Now all these things we've been writing. So we've been literally writing this application like it's our own application. Now you know one beautiful thing of scaling an application is that it has to be able to allow people to add just things they want to add without a lot of compromise and so on and so forth. For now, we have been able to scale it out using Composer, where we are able to add. You can see now we can easily add another class and some other stuff. And now, before I just close, so let me show you something. So if I'm trying to get another route, if I'm trying to let's say routes, I'll call this route test. So I'll just say slash test, and I want to pass something like this. Home controller. at index. Now, if we go to our request class right here in the framework, we should be able to resolve this and then send down, resolve this, whatever this thing that is here, and then resolve this according to how it should be. And then we shouldn't have to be writing callbacks right here. This callback should be optional. So you do remember that when we call, we do not have any predefined method like get or post. All right. So we are mimicking, we are using a kind of consequence or something. Should I say effect? All right, an adverse effect of what is being called here to track whatever that is happening here. So for example, get is not being defined. So whatever you call, if you call get, all right, so the next thing it brings in the name of the method that you are trying to call, and then the next thing is the argument of the method. Now we can likely check now in the argument of the method. So we have the route, all right, then the next thing is we have the method. Okay, the actual method, the callback method. All right, so we have route, we have method. So in this case, I can change it. I can change this to resolver. All right, so if I call this resolver, so the next easiest things that I have to do is try to resolve this based on whatever that is being returned. For example, let me just call this resolver. So resolver can be either method or whatever it is. All right. So in this case, if resolver so hold on, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have any question? Is this looking confusing, or do you have any question?
I'm following.
I didn't get that.
I said I'm following.
Okay. So now, I'm just going to resolve this in a way that, okay, for example, now, of course, you already see that this, so you already see that this actually calls a method, all right? So first, I'm going to check, I'm just going to check if PHP have something that checks if a method or if a variable is actually callable, all right? So I'm going to do something like if is callable, all right? Is callable, then I call resolver, all right? So if it is this, I should just easily pass this on, all right, to this, just this. Resolver. So I think for now, this should still work. So I'll just, you can see hello world. And of course, it still works because it's a callable. Now, let me check something. Let me show you. If I go down to the test route, so this thing is not going to work again. This thing will just stop test. All right. So you can see can't be found. Page can't be found. All right. So no web page was. All right. I think, sorry. So no web page. Okay, this was because of the resolve. Now, if I change this to to be a function, all right. So this is as a result of the previous set we did do. So I can still pass in the request, but for now, should I pass in the request? Let me just know. Hello. So you can see hello here, all right? So now you can see, what did I have? I did have a controller with a method name, all right? So I'm going to check for all the string. So I'll just say, so now, of course, you know something, if you can see this. So I think this makes much more of sense. All right. So remember that in most cases, what you are always going to get is going to be is going to be a class. All right. It's going to be a class. All right. Sorry, a string. The first hand side after we might have exploded from the arts should be a valid class name. All right. And we are looking at the controllers directory. So first, what we do is we explode. So I can simply do str to r explode is over. So I know for sure that, okay, now I know for sure that the next one is going to be what? Is going to be controller. So the next thing I do is controller equals new so then I can now do something like up but then I can still, even without that, I can still just pass this on and yeah, I think I can pass this on. I can pass this on like up. That's the full name, is app stroke. Let me use this. App stroke. We have HTTP. Then the next one is we have controller. App controller, and then The next thing is resolver zero hand. All right, app HTTP apps HTTP sharp controller, and then yeah, this. So we're done. So now let me just die this so you can see. So die. So let me die this so you can see at once. So you can see this. So now we have a full namespace now, all right? So next I will just do this. In fact, let me just die this so you can see. Or let me just leave controller. So you see we have a valid controller, all right? And now the next thing we can likely do is call the method, all right? So remember that the method is at the second hand side, all right? So I can simply resolve this to be controller, maybe probably say method. So automatically we've gotten that resolved. And yes, I can pass params if I wish to pass params. Of course, in most cases, what Laravel always do is to pass what's it called? Is to pass a kind of request param for here. In this case, I can easily just forcefully pass each method's param in here. But then there are some other stuff I need to treat. But then let's leave it at this. So, and of course, an error should be thrown that methods, whatever, does not exist. Yeah, you see, this is the kind of errors that Laravel will likely throw. All right, say call to a member function, index on string. So yeah, refresh this. So we got a not found. Oops.
I think you're supposed to call controller the
Oh, sorry. Thank you for pointing me to that. So I call controller string. Yeah, exactly. So that works. Thank you so much. That means you're really paying attention. So we have a page not working correctly again. And why is that not working correctly? So we just look through on catch must be a valid function callback. So this is because it has been set to be a function callback. Now there is a way we can override this. So there is a way we can override this. Very simple. So you can override it on the you can override it on this whole request class. Another way to override is just to declare this as a function, and then you can decide to pass in the request. All right. So so you pass in the request, and of course, I think this is mostly what Laravel does or something. So requests, most times they pass requesting. So then you can now say use whatever, and then you return this guy. So yeah, so you see, it works perfect. So we are able now to add, several. We are able now to scale our application, use Composer, being able to scale it. Now we can add every other what's it called? Every other classes without having to use the require require include and other random stuff. All right. So we use a qualified class on each of the file, and then we build our app in a way that it is totally scalable. And of course, I know you've been able to use Composer now. It's very much understandable. But then if there is no, if you still do not understand, so I will, of course, you can ask questions. Then the last one is, we've been able to add controller functions to this. Okay, so for you to be able to do what, to do some other random stuff with your. For you to be able to do some other stuff to scale your application, like make it add some other functions, add a qualified class name, while you also inject other free flow of application without you having to include and then doing all this stuff, and then not just writing and returning functions on your router, okay, or sorry, on your request definitions. This is pretty much more scalable, unlike before. So is there any question from anyone? Any question? So we've actually talked about namespaces on how to use them. So which I did show you here. Of course, you see this so where we have some qualified namespacing and so on and so forth. And I did show you how to set that up with what's it called, with Composer, okay, and not just Composer, where you can use it. All right. Any question? So I'll push this to GitHub. So is there any question for now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Is it a must to install a package before we can get our vendor folder? In case when maybe we are building our neon application, then we want to make use of Composer. Is it a must to install at least one package so that we're able to get the vendor folder?
Say it. I cannot hear you. Oh, I think it's my connection. Please, can you just repeat?
Okay, sir. What I'm trying to ask is that, is it a must to install at least one package before we'll be able to get the vendor folder in our new?
No, normally it is not really that supposed to be. It is not really that supposed to be. Okay, but then I don't know. Sometimes my PHP storm can be that weird. So okay, so that was why I did install at least one package. So it could remember when I created the file. All right. So sometimes I don't think it's really necessary. All right. I don't think it's. But if it doesn't show up, so install at least, or you can do Composer. If you do after that, once you do Composer in it will create the folder for it, like it will create your Composer.json. All right. So now the next thing you just do, if you do Composer install and it doesn't work out, it doesn't give you the auto load, so you have to install at least one package. But then I think once you do Composer install, that folder should come out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so I will push this to a public repository. I don't know. So part right. And description.
Yeah, I would love to ask a question, but I'll just wait to watch the video from the beginning.
I didn't get that, Gabriel.
I think I'll just wait for the video. I'll start questioning for the beginning because I feel it. I don't want to ask what you said. What you've done earlier.
I can barely hear. Can you just type?
Okay.
So yeah, I'm being invited to round up. So I'll round up quickly and then we can run away. So yeah, so this is going to be you can go and check this out. So I'll post this in the channel, so where you can go check out and then clone, fork, and then do whatever you have to do. Contribute. All right. This is our thing. We are building it together and in the course of KodeCamp. All right. So type your question. So while I answer, and then I close the class for some other incoming people to come and do what they have to do.